All right, we're rolling. Good morning, Lee.
Good morning, Dylan. Hi, everybody. We're back. We have a renewed interest today.
All right.
Sorry about yesterday. I was having some kind of breakdown. I was thinking about all the stuff that I wanted to talk about, and here we are.
Yeah, great to be back, Lee.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Let me see. Oh, we had so many comments.
That's right.
I really appreciate your comments out there. I was sort of shocked. Everybody really, some of the comments were really long, and then people were really interested, and everybody's paying attention except me. Anyway, thank you for all your comments. It really helped me. It helped me realize what we're doing is okay, and we'll just keep going, and
yeah, excellent.
300 people is plenty. All 300 of us are enjoying it, I hope.
Yeah.
Because I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
You enjoy it.
Absolutely, man. This is a great space.
Yesterday I was lamenting because it wasn't more successful, but fuck it. I had to reconsider about, why am I doing it? And I realized at the end of the day, I'm doing it because I like to do it.
Yeah. That's great.
And if it turns into something, so be it. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And I said when we came back from our little break, and I said I was going to let it all hang out and talk about stuff. I was really going to let it all hang out.
Yeah.
So today I'm going to tell a story that's just beyond shocking.
Wow. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. This story is, of all my stories, well, I've got a lot of stories, but this one is really horrible.
Wow.
And this story, I'm telling this story about why I'm pro-choice. Okay. I'm pro-choice. A lot of things I'm conservative, financial stuff. And I mean, like everybody, there's certain things I'm more conservative about and certain things I'm more liberal about.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think everybody's like that to some extent, even if they don't admit it.
Right.
We all have our feelings, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to tell a story about why I'm pro-choice.
Okay. Yeah, I've never heard this story yet, so this is my first time hearing this.
This is a story I don't tell often.
Yeah.
This is such a horrible story that I have to tell it.
Wow.
And people out there that are pro-life, I feel you. But I'm going to tell you the other side of the coin,
Yeah.
Because the other side of the coin. Well, when it comes to abortion, how I feel about it is, and this story will illustrate that, everybody gets an abortion if they want one, whether it's legal or not.
Wow. Yeah.
You can make it illegal, you can make it legal, you can do whatever you want, but when people want an abortion, they get one way or the other.
Yeah.
And nobody can do anything about that. And I don't think you can legislate it. Because when people want an abortion, they're going to get one.
Yeah, I see. Right.
And if you make it illegal, well, my story will illustrate.
Yeah.
I was like 18 years old.
Okay.
And you got to understand, how do I say it without sounding racist? What kind of white people are fruit pickers? You know what I mean? Like, we're fruit pickers. We pick fruit. You know what I mean? Like, we're out there with the farm workers picking fruit, I mean,
yeah.
That's the level I was at in my life at that point,
Yeah.
Like, when I wanted money, I did farm work. And
Right.
And it's a different world, people at that strata. Like, it's not like the people, like when people from Palo Alto or somebody wanted an abortion back then, because abortion was illegal, they would fly to Japan or go to Beverly Hills, and some doctor would take care of it. People that could afford it, they got it like that.
I see. Yeah.
People that were fruit pickers, they had to go a different route.
Yeah.
And so I got this girl pregnant, and she wanted an abortion, and I thought that was a good idea too. I was like 18, 19, something like that.
She was your girlfriend at the time?
Yeah, she was like, I guess 16 or 17. I don't know if I was 19 or 18 or 19. She was 16 or 17. We were really young trashers. And so we were told you could go to Tijuana and get an abortion.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it would cost like $1,000 or something, or $900, whatever it costs. And so we scraped the money together. And my mother actually took a loan out. She went to the local banker and told him what, and he actually loaned her the money. It was just the most amazing thing.
Wow.
And she gave me the money. And so somebody loaned me a Mercury station wagon.
Okay.
A real big old Mercury station wagon.
Nice. Yeah.
And we got to use that to drive to Tijuana. So where I lived in the San Joaquin Valley was a town called Atwater, about 35 miles south of Modesto,
Okay. Yeah.
near Merced, Atwater, all the same thing.
Yep.
Out there in the middle of the San Joaquin Valley. About 120 miles from Bakersfield, and then from there on. So it was quite a drive to Tijuana,
Yeah.
you know.
Gotcha.
And it was in the middle of the summer. It was like 100 zillion degrees, okay?
Okay. Yeah. Damn, that's
So
brutal.
it's like, I mean, it's like 105, you know, like it was really bad, the worst of the summer heat.
Jeez.
We were doing it. And so we drive to Tijuana, we go there, and we, as a cab driver, we say, I want an abortion. So they take us to the street. And it was a whole street of gynecologists. But the gynecologists, each one was like a little shack. It was a dirt road with these little buildings. Each building was a gynecology place.
Holy shit.
There's a whole row of them. And so we went to the first building, and they said, no, you're too young, go. They told us, get out of here.
Yeah.
We went to every building on the street, and everybody turned us away because we were so young looking.
Wow. No kidding.
Yeah, we were so young
Yeah.
looking that they didn't want any part of us. It was just,
Yeah.
the girl was young, I was young.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. So then the cab driver talks to one of the guys, and so they said, well, come, we have another place we can do it. So they take me back into Tijuana, in the center of town. There's a jewelry store, and we go in the jewelry store, and the wall came about like this far to where the wall ended. You could slip behind the wall. And so we went behind the counter in the jewelry store, walked around the counter, and then squeezed behind this wall into this room, and it was a little white tile room in a jewelry store.
Jewelry store.
A white tile room, right? And so they tell me, I got to leave the girl there for 30 minutes and come back in 30 minutes.
Oh, shit.
And I said, no, I don't want to leave her. And she doesn't want to leave me to leave. I don't want to leave. And she's crying. And they're saying, no, you have to leave. You have to leave.
Damn.
You won't do this unless you leave.
That's scary.
So I talked to her, and she says, okay, stay close by. I says, oh, I will. And so after 30 minutes, I come back in the jewelry store, and they act like they don't know me.
No way. You're kidding
They
me.
say, they say, who are you? What are you talking about? And I go, wait a minute. I start yelling, and they just say, what are you? Wait a minute. So I go behind the counter. I push by them, and I go back in there
Wow.
into the little tower room, and she's laying there. There's blood everywhere,
Holy shit.
and she's hemorrhaging, and there's blood, and it's a shitstorm.
Jeez.
And so I grab her, and we run out of there. And we get a cab, we get back to our Mercury station wagon. We start driving back to take her back to her people. But it's a long drive, and she's bleeding.
She's bleeding in the car. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's
Jeez.
laying in the back of the station wagon bleeding.
Holy
And
shit.
going through the border, we sat up and acted like everything was cool. But anyway, it was 100 zillion degrees when we get out in the San Joaquin Valley. And we're driving along outside of Bakersfield, and we get this is old funky Mercury station wagon with ball tires. We have a flat.
Oh, no way.
We're out in the middle of
Fuck.
nowhere on Highway 99,
Shit.
104 degrees, so it's like 140 degrees in the car.
Yeah, that's horrific.
And she's laying in the back of the car. There's blood everywhere. And just remember, so I got out, I took the tire, and I start hitchhiking and leave her there. And somebody takes me to get a tire, and they're nice enough to bring me back. I put the tire on, and she's dying. It's so hot, so we're driving again. It's like a zillion degrees.
Jeez.
We drive again. We get past Bakersfield. We're outside of Fresno, near Visalia. We get another flat tire.
No way. You're kidding
the
me.
cold, the tires on this station wagon were bald to begin with, you know.
Yeah.
So this is a total white trash, insane thing. And the girl's laying in the back bleeding, thinking she's dying. I'm thinking she's dying.
Man, that's horrible. Yeah.
We're sweating. My hands are filthy. I'm dirty. I've just done 2 tires. We get the second tire, same thing. I hitchhike. Somebody's nice enough, they bring me back.
Wow.
I get this girl. And it was just so crazy, you know. And it was so crazy, like just the street in Tijuana, the dirt street with the gynecology places all in a row, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone was like from fucking nightmare or whatever. And even they wouldn't even deal with us. And they took us to this jewelry store, and they did this botched abortion.
Jeez, that's terrible. Yeah.
And I can't even explain how horrible it was.
Man, unbelievable.
It was just horrible. And so I get this girl back to her mother's house, and I have to play in San Francisco that night.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you have a show that night.
Well, I don't know. I think I was in a band or something, and I had to be there. We were playing at some club in North Beach,
Gotcha.
and so I dropped the girl off at her parents. She survived, and
Wow. Thank goodness. Yeah.
yeah, she survived, and she went on to have kids in the future, which was good because she didn't know after that if she'd be able to have kids. I mean, it was a botched abortion, you know what I mean,
Jeez.
done by people that are running a jewelry store or some shit.
Yeah, that is crazy.
It was like beyond crazy.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of shit that happens when abortion's illegal.
Yeah.
And so the pro-life people are all adamant about God and all this stuff, you know.
Right.
But reality is, the rich people will get their abortions, and the trashers, like we were, will go to Tijuana or somewhere,
Wow.
or some horrible place,
Yeah.
you know, to get their version of their justice.
Right.
So there's justice for the rich, and the poor people are on their own.
Wow.
You know, you're on
Jeez.
your own. You're,
Yeah.
you know, you're trashers. You're just on your own. So I feel so strongly about that, you know, because I lived it. And the real kicker of this story is it turned out it wasn't my baby.
No way. Holy shit.
I found out like a year or 2 later
You're
that
kidding
it
me.
wasn't my baby. This girl scammed me.
What the fuck?
She scammed me, man. I went through all that. My mother borrowed the money. I went through hell. I went through hell.
Shit, man, that is unbelievable.
But I didn't hold it against her because she did what she had to do. Once again, you know, trashers, everybody does what they have to do. She was doing what she had to do to get her abortion.
So she must have known that it wasn't yours from the
Yeah,
start?
she knew.
Wow. Holy
And
shit. That is mind-blowing.
and it was horrible. It was one of the most horrible experiences of my life.
Yeah.
And I never held it against her for a minute. But she scammed me. Yeah, and it was I can only imagine. It was like 100 zillion degrees when we had those flat tires.
Yeah, that is hell.
I was like it was a nervous breakdown. I was ready for a nervous breakdown. I thought the girl was dying.
Yeah.
You know, I was sure she was dying in my car.
Yeah.
And then I had to leave her in the middle of the 100 zillion degrees and go hitchhike with a tire. I did do that twice.
Damn.
I mean, so by the time I got her to her house, I was just a sweaty, dirty mess.
Yeah.
And I had to drop her and drive to San Francisco.
Wow.
Holy
shit. Was she conscious for the drive, or did she
Yeah,
sleep
she
in
was
the back?
conscious.
Wow, okay. Yeah.
And crying
I
and
see.
screaming the whole way.
Wow.
So it was like a scene out of the most insane movie. Like you couldn't imagine a more horrible scene, because I was sure the girl was dying.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so much blood.
That's horrific.
There was blood everywhere. The whole back of the station wagon was full of blood. The back of the jewelry store was full of blood. She must have, I don't know.
Wow.
That's my story.
How far along was she?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not very far.
Not very far, yeah.
But
Man.
what do you do? What do you do? Make abortion illegal?
Damn.
So, so the pro-lifers, I say, well, yeah, that in theory, that's good. I understand every life is sacred and everything. But
Yeah.
in reality,
Right.
when people want abortions, they get abortions.
Yeah.
So people with money, no problem. They go to. I knew girls that flew to Japan to get abortions, and
Wow.
other people went to Beverly Hills to get abortions.
Wow.
But trashers go to Tijuana on a dirt street
Holy shit.
to get abortions. People, lower class people from lower economic means. That's what they did,
Man.
and that's what I did.
Yeah.
And that was the story. I to this day, I sometimes I think about that, and I think that was just like, it was like I should have had PTSD from that. That was like the worst experience of my life, just in terms of just horrible experience. I know people out there go through a lot worse all the time. So, but that was my experience.
Yeah. No, you make valid points regarding the whole pro-choice thing. That's
Yeah, I mean,
an
everybody
example.
gets an abortion
Yeah.
who wants one.
right. Right.
So the fact that the Roe versus Wade has been shot down, still people will get their abortions. If you live in a state where abortion's not legal, you will get an abortion if you want one. You will go to another state where it's legal, or you'll go somewhere. You'll get
Right.
your abortion.
Right. Right.
So I don't care too much about Roe versus Wade.
Yeah.
But I think the religious people are really got their head up their ass.
Yeah.
And I know they're not going to like that, and I'm going to get a lot of hate from people for that. But you just can't stop people from doing what they're going to do. It's like if somebody wants to cut their dick off. You say, okay, it's your dick. Cut it
Right.
off.
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
Everybody gets what they want. If somebody wants to cut their dick off, they're going to figure it out. Before it was legal here, people went to foreign countries to get sex changes and stuff.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody gets what they want, one way or the other.
Right. Right.
And so this trying to legislate our morality
Yeah, that's dark.
on any level,
Yeah.
And it's always seems to be around sex, the sexual component,
Right.
where
right.
we're legislating our morality around sexual beliefs.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's fascinating. Bizarre.
And so, and I'm not religious. I don't feel that. And I know a lot of people are, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I believe in spirits, and I believe in consciousness and beings.
Oh yeah, same.
But the classic God, the classic Christian, Islam,
right.
all the classic
Yeah,
religions.
the Judeo-Christian. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing. I believe. Well, I believe aliens
Yeah.
upgraded humanity,
Right.
and we're the result of that. And so we're sort of like products of alien intervention. And
Right.
all the angels throughout history and all the things, all the gods coming from the sky, those were all aliens. And they're even starting to acknowledge that now,
Right. Right.
that all these sightings that they thought were gods and angels, those were aliens,
Yeah.
fucking aliens.
Pretty incredible.
And so, to say there's a God is a stretch,
Right.
And I believe that we need organization and we need morality, and so religion gives us a structure in some sense.
Right. Right.
But my abortion story is just living proof. I mean, that's just like, how do you argue with that? How do you argue? You say, oh, pro-life would have been better. It would have been better if she had the baby. Well, she wasn't going to have the baby,
Right.
no matter what, she wasn't going to have the baby.
Yeah.
And so what was the result? We wound up in Tijuana.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have had to gone to Tijuana. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Of course not. They shouldn't have that.
We shouldn't have
Yeah.
that. Shouldn't have, we shouldn't have had to do that because we were poor
Yeah.
and because we didn't have anything. Because we're fruit pickers, we have to go to Tijuana to get an abortion.
Right.
That's not right.
Yeah. Definitely not. Yeah.
Yeah. So I gotta say, I'm pro-choice. If you want to be pro-life, so be it. But you're wrong-minded because all that's going to happen is people are going to suffer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I lived it. I lived it.
Yeah.
And that shit will happen again, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, that won't happen to rich people, but that will happen to people without money.
Yeah.
People without money will go to some shady place for an abortion.
Right. Yeah.
And be killed or ruined so they can never have kids again or whatever happens to them.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be relegated to people that aren't as fortunate as people with more money.
Yeah. That's a darn shame. You know, it's a crying
And that's how
shame.
it works. And that's how it will always work.
Yeah.
People who don't have money get less, you know.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't have to risk their life to
Yeah. That's inhumane.
get
Yeah.
what they want.
Oh yeah.
And that girl could have died that day. I
Right.
think she was close to death.
Right.
And she could have died.
Yeah. That is horrific.
Yeah. And what if she would have died? I mean, and I didn't even know it wasn't my kid.
Right. Right.
If she would have died, I would have gotten in trouble for it.
Right.
And I would have never found out. Maybe I would have found out. Maybe the person would have told me, but that could have gone really wrong. Or she could have been so fucked up she could have never had kids again.
Yeah.
But
ruined
as
some
it turned out, she was able to have kids.
That's good.
But
You were definitely a hero and a saint to her, man. Taking her back and forth and looking out for her, man. Kudos to you.
I thought I was doing the right
that.
thing.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
But I can't believe it, man. I mean, we were really poor, and my mother borrowed that money.
Damn.
Wow. Yeah. So I'm pro-life.
Pro-choice, or
Oh, pro-choice. I'm sorry. Fuck. I'm pro-choice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those are some really valid points. That's really eye-opening, and yeah, it blew my mind. Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
story,
What can
man.
you say to that story? I mean, you tell somebody abortion. It's good to have abortion be illegal. I don't think so.
Right.
I think everybody should get what they want. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everybody should get what they want
Yeah. Seems like
because they're
human-
going to get it anyway.
Right.
Like she wanted an abortion. We got an abortion, and there was a way to do it. You had to go to Tijuana.
Yeah.
Why was that? It was because abortion was illegal. So I think I'm pro-life, and I can't help it due to my personal experience.
You're pro-life or pro-choice?
Pro-choice. Fuck. I'm sorry. I'm saying the wrong thing. I'm pro-choice.
Choice, yeah. Yeah.
The people can make little clips of me saying I'm both things, but you get it. I told my story,
Yeah.
and that's my story, man. And I thought, you know, I thought, should I tell those kind of stories on my channel? You know, should I get in? Because I know this is political, and I said I didn't want to talk politics, but it's beyond political.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing the story.
It's
for
a
sure.
human story.
Yeah.
A real human story that really happened.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think that's
And if
incredible.
you can only imagine, I mean, can you imagine being in that station wagon and it being so hot, and you can imagine how afraid that girl was?
There's no air conditioning in the car?
No.
Holy shit.
Well, not
Yeah, not to the extent.
not when you're
yeah.
broke down on the side of the road.
Right.
An
Right.
old Mercury station wagon, a 50s Mercury station wagon. I mean, that was
Yeah. Yeah.
with ball tires. I mean, it was a total trasher event. I mean, there was nothing
Yeah.
upscale about this whole event. It was
yeah.
like really down and dirty.
Damn.
And I was covered with filth from between two tires.
Wow.
I mean, I was just a filth bucket, sweaty
Yeah.
and bloody, blood all over everything. And the car was full of blood.
Man.
I took the guy at his Mercury station wagon. He looked at all the blood in it, and he looked at me, and I went, "Man, I got to go to San Francisco."
Shit.
You know.
Damn.
Anyway,
Wow, man, incredible story, Lee. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah. So pro-choice.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And I don't consider myself a leftist. So,
Yeah. Wow.
but I consider myself that's why politics is so weird, because we all have feelings, but to be all just so on one trip, no matter what, you know what I mean?
Right. Something
Like-
wrong with that. Yeah.
Like to be extremely one way, like every situation is different, and in that situation was different.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And being pro-choice, I have to be pro-choice. God, after doing that, I mean, after living through that, how could I be anything other than pro-choice?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I
how could you?
mean, really. And how could anyone, after hearing that story? Now, I know that people will say they have all this stuff they'll say, but that stuff doesn't matter. What matters is that we were trashers. We were in that station wagon. We went to Tijuana.
Yeah.
That's reality.
Wow. Yeah.
The hypothetical discussions about life and God and sanctity of life, that's just all out the window.
Right.
When it's 104 degrees and somebody's laying in the back hemorrhaging to death,
Yeah. Jeez.
and yeah, all that sort of goes out the window, all those arguments.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
Man.
wow. Anyway, I hope you all can imagine being in that position. That I can't even explain it, as horrendous as it was, because she was crying the whole time
Yeah.
and freaking the whole time.
Jeez.
She was freaking, I was freaking, and we had 2 flat tires out in the middle of no fucking where.
Jeez. that
Just
is
out in the middle of
nuts.
nowhere on Highway 99.
Yeah.
Just like, what do we do now?
Fuck. That is
And
scary.
I have to leave her there in the car. It must have been 140 degrees in the car.
Yeah.
And she's just laying in the back bleeding and
Did you guys have any water in the car
No.
and nothing to drink?
nothing.
Wow, man, that is nuts.
And we were trashing. We were just too
Yeah.
stupid to even know about water.
Right.
I mean, we're really
Damn.
just trashers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So everybody, talk about getting real. We getting real here. The
It's good.
podcast is taking a little turn. I'm going to get real. I'm going to tell some shit now.
Yeah, I think it's good to do that.
Well, I was thinking
Yeah.
about it yesterday. I was thinking, the problem with the podcast is I'm always holding back. I'm always holding back. I'm always holding back and not wanting to tell shit. But I'm going to tell shit
Yeah, I think that's great.
because I think it's important to tell shit.
For sure.
And that's why people do podcasts is to tell shit.
Yeah.
And so,
It's not just an incredible story, it's also good food for thought for anyone who hears that. It gives you something to think
yeah,
about.
because
Yeah.
people are going to get what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, same with sex change. People
Right.
that wanted sex changes before it became popular and in the end thing to do or whatever it is,
Right.
they went to foreign countries.
Wow.
They went to Sweden or Norway or wherever it was where they were cutting dicks off. You know what I mean? They went there to get their shit. Or there was some doctor in Denver that did it secretly. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
God,
Like
yeah.
that. So everybody gets what they want.
Right.
So why not make everything legal like that? Because people are going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Why make them risk their lives to do it?
Right. Yeah, that's
Like-
the harsh reality. Yeah.
With anything, why make people
Yeah.
risk their lives to get what they want? Because you don't think it's right? Because of some moral thing, or because of God? Because of God, or because of the Pope, or
Right.
whoever the fuck said you can't have an abortion?
Right.
Yeah. Wow. What do you say to those people? You got to recheck yourself, man.
Yeah.
Imagine your daughter in the back of that car.
Right. Yeah.
Imagine your daughter laying in the back of that car. Yeah, imagine your daughter in Tijuana on some dirt street looking for an abortion.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
And imagine that. And so people that are all high and mighty about pro-life, that they got their heads up their ass.
Wow. Yeah.
And I can clearly say that.
Yeah.
And You can talk to your God about it all you want.
Right.
But the reality is people are going to do what they want. And they're going to get what they need. And they may be wrong in their choices. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, we shouldn't have gone to Tijuana that day. That was not a good choice.
Right.
We shouldn't have gone through that whole experience. But we did that because there was nothing else available to us.
Yeah.
That was our only choice. The people we were,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
There's no other option.
trashers, that was our choice.
Yeah.
I knew people at the time that had abortions, their parents flew them to Japan.
Yeah, that's right. You mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah, or they would, you know, go to Beverly Hills where there'd be some doctor that everybody knew. Years later, I found out about all that stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Wow.
when you're a trasher and you're a fruit picker, and that's what you do, man. You just do it.
Yeah, I see.
Anyway, I'm sweating just talking about this story. It reminds me of the whole thing about how it was.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. It's incredible.
Yeah, I know I'm repeating myself, but I want you to all understand out there how important it is that we don't do this to people. Because the only people that ever suffer are people of low economic means, you know?
Right.
Like nobody else suffers.
Right.
I mean they do in their own way, but I mean the people with money,
Yeah.
they figure the shit out as they need it. They got
Right.
money, they do stuff and it works.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's why I'm pro-choice.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. So everybody, I hope that wasn't too much of a downer for you, too real. I hope your God's not insulted. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. That's kind of the end of this story.
Yeah. That's great.
It was funny though when I found out it wasn't mine. I didn't find out for a couple of years.
Oh, really? Okay. So it was
Like a
years
year and a
afterwards.
half, 2 years later, someone
Yeah.
told me.
Gotcha.
Says, "Oh, by the way, remember that?" And I went, "What?" And they said, "Yeah." And I went, "Wow."
Damn.
And I couldn't. It was such a horrible experience that I couldn't even hold it against her. You know,
Right.
it was just,
Right.
yeah.
Well, you were there for her when she needed it the most. So.
I guess. I mean, I did feel a little bit like a fool, but
Sure. Yeah.
that was quite an experience to go through for somebody else.
Right. Right.
You know, but yeah. And you know what's really sad is that I would probably do it again if I was in back then. I mean, if the whole scene came down again back then, now I wouldn't, obviously.
Yeah.
But back then, yeah, I would have probably done the same thing.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm glad the girl didn't die.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank goodness.
I never seen so much blood.
Wow.
It was something else. Well, everybody, how do you like that podcast? I don't know. I guess we're going to get a lot of input on comments on that one, but
Sure. Yeah.
I hope you all understand. I hope you can feel it. I hope you've placed yourself in that situation and imagined yourself in that situation. Especially the pro-life, is that what you call it? Especially the pro-life people, because I know you feel real strongly about it. The pro-life people do. But passing laws to say that people can't get an abortion, you won't stop them from getting an abortion. You'll drive them to do something like that. And believe me, if they made abortion illegal in the whole country or all over the place, those abortion clinics will open Tijuana again. You know they would.
Right.
Yeah, you'd go across the border and there they'd be. just like 60 years ago.
Wow.
You know, it'd be like deja vu.
Yeah.
Because people get what they want in this life. Even if it's not the best choice,
Yeah.
they get what they want.
Sure, yeah. When there's no other options, yeah.
Yeah, and it isn't like you feel like you have a lot of choices,
Right.
you know, when you're in that situation. Anyway, I'm glad the girl didn't die.
Yeah.
There you go. Happy Podcastville. Tomorrow's show, we have Joel Larson on.
Oh, wow. That's
Joel
right.
Larson.
Yeah.
He played drums on Do You Know What I Mean? And we're going to talk all about music. He played on a zillion hit records. A great drummer.
Excellent.
The most underrated drummer in the history of the music business, I'm sure.
Wow.
But we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, can't wait to have more.
Yeah,
that's really
gonna be
cool.
fun. That's going to be fun.
That is awesome, Lee. Wow. It's going to be great.
Yeah, tomorrow's podcast is going to be great. Okay, I guess that's enough of horrendo stories. I hope you like that story. I hope it wasn't too real for you. I'm glad I told it because,
Me too.
yeah, I'm going to start letting a little of my
Sure, yeah.
real shit come out here.
Yeah, we all appreciate it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Well, Dylan, it's nice seeing you.
Yep, good to see you, Lee.
Audience, it was nice seeing you. I hope I didn't blow your mind too much with that story. I hope you can relate. I hope I don't have, the reason I don't like talking politics is I don't want all the hate, you know what I mean? I don't think I would like that if people are hating on me for saying stuff. Like, I don't hate nobody, and I don't hate people on the left. I don't hate people on the right.
Yeah, that's a good way to be.
I can see stuff on the left I don't like. I can see stuff on the right I don't like.
Right, right.
You know, I can, just like everybody, I think everybody's like that. We can all see stuff on both sides that we think, well,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I would change that a little,
Yep.
or I would modify that. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. So I guess but lately it seems like if you're moderate, I guess I would call myself a moderate, sort of in the middle, But like a lot of people, if you say you're in the middle, the people on the right say you're on the left, and if you're the people on the left, they say you're a Nazi or some shit. And I don't know. I'm not a Nazi or a hater or a racist or anything.
Yeah.
I understand that stuff. I have friends that are on both sides of the fence. I have friends that are extreme left, and they're insane. I have a trans friend that's just on another planet. I have friends on the right that are so far off into the God thing that you can't reason with them.
Right.
It's all about God, everything. And that gives them some kind of comfort, and that's cool.
Right.
But somewhere in the middle is reality. And so that's why I had to tell my story about going to Tijuana, because that story shows you what can happen.
Right.
I know I'm repeating myself, but it's so important that we all learn to tolerate each other. Right?
Absolutely, I agree with that.
Like tolerate others' needs. Because sometimes that stuff is a need. Like when someone gets an abortion, they feel they need an abortion. They're not, a lot of times their mental health depends on it.
Sure, yeah.
And not by your standards or someone else's standards, but by their standards.
Yeah.
They make their own decisions about what they need, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They could be wrong, but that's their life and their standard. You shouldn't have to go to Tijuana to be wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be wrong in a more safer environment. Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's the story. I hate to end on a down note. So tomorrow it's going to be fun, everybody. We're going to talk about music, and we're not going to talk about death and destruction. God, I'm glad that girl didn't die. Shall we go?
Yeah, that's a good 40-minute podcast today. It's
wow,
jam-packed.
long time.
Yeah.
A lot of blood. Okay, everybody. Shit, I don't want to end on this thing being down, but it's not down. That was a good story.
Yeah.
I
Right.
needed to tell that.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that.
I've been wanting to tell that story for months, and I thought, no, I shouldn't tell that because somebody's going to get mad at me or somebody's. But I think it's important,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything. It was just a story. It means I believe we have to help people get what they want, even if we don't agree with what they want. We have to help each other get what we want and be happy. And like sometimes somebody might be happy and that wouldn't make us happy. But that's all right.
Right.
Because that's their life.
Yeah.
Right?
Pursuit of happiness. Yeah. Life,
Yeah.
liberty, pursuit of happiness. Yeah.
Somebody wants to cut their dick off. I think you might regret that. But I mean, that's all I'll say about that is it may be, that's like rolling the dice big time. You know, you do something like that, you roll the dice, you say, you pay the consequence, you either like what the result or you don't, you know. So many things in life are like that. You make a choice, you like the result or you don't, or it goes the way you planned or it didn't.
Yeah.
You know, my thing in Tijuana didn't go the way I planned. It didn't go the way I planned at all. But that was the choice we made. Fuck, I'm repeating myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody, you can see this is a traumatic event for me, and I have to... shit. I can't believe I told that story. Okay, we're out of here. 3, 2, 1. Goodbye, everybody. Poof.